The world as we know it has just changed forever, and the map of power is being redrawn while we sleep. It is not just a small disagreement or a temporary argument between friends. We are witnessing a total divorce between the United States and its oldest, most important allies. For the last 77 years, the NATO alliance was the strongest team on the planet, but today, that team is effectively dead. World leaders are not just frustrated anymore. They are taking massive action to protect themselves from a future where America is no longer a reliable partner. They are not just writing angry letters or making speeches. They are building a brand new global system that completely leaves the United States behind. This is not a guess about what might happen in the future. As of this morning, this is the new way the world works. The United States is currently pulling out of 66 different international groups that help the world run smoothly. At the same time, we have massive taxes called tariffs of 41% hitting the countries that used to be our best friends. Now, those friends are hitting back. They aren't using guns or bombs, but they are using something just as powerful: pens and paper. They are signing deals that exclude America from the biggest markets on Earth. In this video, we are going to look deeply into what is actually happening. We will show you the exact details of a massive new trade deal between Europe and India that was signed today. We will look at the specific words that made leaders in the United Kingdom and Germany decide they could no longer trust the White House. We will also talk about the scary economic future for an America that is all alone in the year 2026. This is the true story of how the Western world decided to walk away from the United States. To understand why leaders like Ursula von der Leyen and Narendra Modi are smiling together in New Delhi today, we first have to understand why Keir Starmer and Boris Pistorius are so angry in London and Berlin. I am Josh GEO, and today we are looking at the end of an era. The spark that started this fire was not a boring government report, it was a direct insult. Last Thursday, during an interview on Fox Business, President Trump said something that changed how people see the history of the war in Afghanistan. He wanted to explain why he wants America to stand alone and why he keeps threatening to leave NATO. He claimed that America's friends, like the United Kingdom, Canada, Germany, and Poland, basically hid during the war. He said they stayed back and stayed off the front lines while American soldiers did all the dangerous fighting. The reaction from the rest of the world was like a nuclear explosion of anger. For the first time in a very long time, the leader of Great Britain publicly yelled at a sitting US president. Prime Minister Keir Starmer said the comments were terrible and very insulting to the people who served. We have to look at the real numbers because the numbers are why everyone is so upset. The United Kingdom lost 457 brave soldiers in Afghanistan. Canada lost 158. Germany lost 59. Even small countries like Denmark lost many people compared to the number of people living there. These soldiers weren't hiding in the back. They were in the most dangerous places like Helmand Province and Kandahar. They were fighting and dying in the same dirt as American Marines. The German defense minister Boris Pistorius was so mad that he forgot about being polite. He went on national television and demanded that the president apologize. He said it is simply wrong and disrespectful to lie about the sacrifice of allies. This is about more than just hurt feelings. This is about the total death of trust. The most important rule of NATO is called Article 5. It is a promise that says if one country is attacked, all the other countries will fight to help it. This promise only works if everyone believes that the United States cares about its friends. When the president says that the lives of British and German soldiers didn't matter, or that they were cowards, he is telling them that the alliance is worth nothing. The world didn't just get sad, it realized it had to change. Europe realized that this wasn't just a short storm they could wait out. It was a permanent change in the weather. They realized that if the US president doesn't care about their soldiers, he definitely won't send help if their borders are attacked. This realization made everything move much faster. It turned slow talks with India into a fast race. If NATO is broken and the bridge of trade across the ocean is burning because of huge taxes on steel and cars, Europe knew it needed a new best friend. They looked toward the east and found India, the country with the most people in the world, waiting to shake hands. Let's look at what happened today, January 27th, 2026. While people in Washington were busy arguing about taxes, leaders in Brussels and New Delhi finished a deal that they had been trying to make for 20 years. The leaders in Europe are calling it the mother of all deals. This is not just a small tweak to some rules, this is a total joining of two massive economies that completely ignores the United States. Here is the data from the deal that was released this morning. This agreement creates a trade zone that includes over 2 billion people. It gets rid of taxes on 96% of European goods going into India. This has never happened before. For a long time, India was one of the hardest places in the world to sell things because it had very high taxes to protect their own businesses. They didn't just open the door for Europe, they took the door off the hinges. Let's talk about cars as an example. For a long time, if you wanted to sell a German car like a BMW or an Italian car like a Lamborghini in India, you had to pay a tax of 110%. That meant the car cost twice as much as it should, so almost nobody could buy one. Under this new deal, the tax drops all the way down to 10%. This is like a goldmine for the German car industry. Companies like Volkswagen and Mercedes are currently being hurt by Trump's taxes in America. Now, they have decided to stop worrying so much about American buyers and start selling to the millions of new middle-class people in India. It isn't just about cars. It is about wine and spirits, too. Taxes on wine in India used to be 150%. Those are being cut. Taxes on machines, chemicals, and medicine are also being wiped away. In return, India gets to sell almost everything it makes to Europe without paying any extra taxes. This includes clothes, leather, and jewelry. These are businesses that give jobs to millions of Indian people. Now they have a direct path to sell their goods in cities like Paris, Berlin, and Rome without any government fees. The timing of this is very important. Just as Indian sellers are facing new American taxes of up to 40%, the door to Europe is opening wide. Just as European factories are facing a wall of taxes in the US, the door to India is opening wide. This is a smart move by two of the biggest powers in the world to protect themselves from America's choices. The leader of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, said it very clearly today. She said they have shown the world that working together still works. This was a message sent directly to Donald Trump. The message is that they do not need America to be successful and rich. The title of this video talks about a ban. Now, in the legal world, it is very hard to officially kick the United States out of NATO or the World Trade Organization. But in the world of power, you don't need a piece of paper to kick someone out. You just have to change the locks on the door. This is what we call a soft ban. A soft ban happens when your friends stop telling you their secrets because they don't trust your leader. A soft ban is when countries decide to ship their goods through different ports so they don't have to deal with your rules. A soft ban is when the big world meetings become a group where the real decisions are made in the hallway before the American president even arrives. This is happening right now. While Europe and India are becoming close partners, the US is pulling back into a strange kind of loneliness. President Trump has started something called his Board of Peace. This is a new group he wants to lead that includes Vladimir Putin from Russia, but leaves out our old friends. He has taken the US out of 66 international groups in just 1 year because he says they are part of a globalist plan. The result of this is that the rest of the world is simply moving on without us. Look at what Europe is doing with its military. For a long time, people in Europe talked about being able to defend themselves without needing the American army. Most people thought it was just a dream that would never happen, but today it is a survival plan. The new deal with India isn't just about selling wine and cars. It includes a huge section on defense and safety. They are talking about how to keep the oceans safe and how to protect their computers from hackers. These are the kinds of things they used to only talk about with Washington. India is also changing its plans. India used to be a very important part of a group called the Quad, which included the US, Japan, and Australia, to keep an eye on China. But because the US is acting in ways that are hard to predict and is putting taxes on Indian goods, India is looking for other partners. They are betting that being friends with Europe is a safer bet than being in a relationship with the MAGA movement. What does all of this mean for you? If you are an American, or if you just care about the world economy, this is a big deal. Being alone is not free. In fact, it is very expensive. President Trump believes that putting taxes on everything will force companies to build factories back in the United States. He calls this the Great Rebuilding. He did get a big promise of $550 billion from Japan recently, which is a lot of money. But many experts who study money warn that these promises often disappear when things get difficult. The real thing people are seeing right now is inflation, which is when prices go up. When you put a 25% tax on things coming into the country, the people living in the country have to pay more for everything they buy. But the even bigger danger is that American companies are losing the ability to sell their products to other people. Think about the farmers in Iowa who grow soybeans, or the farmers in Nebraska who grow corn. They need to sell their crops to other countries to make a living. When Europe and India sign a deal that removes taxes between them, American farmers are left out in the cold. A farmer in France can now sell wheat to a buyer in India without paying a tax. An American farmer still has to pay a high tax to sell that same wheat. Who do you think the person in India is going to buy from? They will choose the cheaper one every single time. This is called trade diversion, and it is a silent way that powerful countries lose their wealth. This new deal gives European companies a head start in the Indian market, which has 1.4 billion people. By the time America tries to fix things, the shelves in India will already be full of German tools, French clothes, and Italian food. We are losing the chance to sell to the customers of the future because we are too focused on old arguments from the past. By the year 2030, the amount of trade between Europe and India is expected to double. At the same time, trade between the US and Europe is expected to drop by 15%. This is the math of a country losing its power. You don't usually lose your spot as a superpower in one big fight. You lose it because everyone else starts doing business without you. We also have to talk about one of the strangest parts of this breakdown, the Greenland crisis. It might sound like a funny story, but it is actually a major reason why NATO is falling apart. President Trump has again said he wants to buy Greenland from the country of Denmark. When Denmark said no for the second time, things got very tense. The president threatened to impose taxes on Denmark, even though it is a loyal friend in NATO. This isn't just about buying land. It is about the Arctic, the area at the very top of the world. As the ice melts, new paths for ships are opening up, and there are many valuable resources under the water. The US wants to control that area, but by trying to bully Denmark, the US has scared all the other nearby countries like Sweden, Finland, and Norway. These countries used to look at the US as a big brother who would protect them. Now, they see the US as a predator that might try to take what they have. This has pushed those northern countries even closer to the European Union and further away from the military group led by the US. It is another piece of the wall that is being built around America. When history books are written in the future, they will likely point to January 2026 as the big turning point. This was the moment when the major powers of Europe and Asia decided to hold hands and close the gate on America. Donald Trump promised to put America first. Strangely, he actually did it. America is now first in being alone. We are first in taxes and first in isolation, but we are no longer in the room where the future of the world is being decided. The ban isn't a legal document that says America is out. But when your friends build a whole new world economy that doesn't include you, the result is the same. When they sign the biggest deals in history and don't even invite you to the meeting, the message is clear. When they demand apologies because you insulted their soldiers who died in battle, you have to ask a hard question. Did we leave our friends, or did our friends decide they were better off without us? The deal between the European Union and India is finished. The papers are signed, and the ink is dry. The taxes are going up, and the walls between us and the world are getting higher every day. Welcome to a new world. It is a world full of anger and big changes. For the first time in 100 years, the United States is flying solo. This is a story that is moving very fast. We expect to see the effects of the EU-India deal for many months to come. We also expect the US to respond with even more taxes in the next few days. This cycle of hitting back and forth is creating a world where no one knows what will happen tomorrow. If you want to keep up with these huge changes in how the world works, make sure you stay tuned. We are watching the money, we are reading the secret treaties, and we are listening to the silence when world leaders refuse to speak to each other. What is your opinion on this? Do you think this soft ban is the beginning of the end for America's spot as the world leader? Or do you think the president is right to be tough on our allies, even if it means we have to stand alone? This is a huge debate that will affect our jobs, our prices, and our safety for a long time. Let us know what you think in the comments. The world is changing, and we are here to help you understand every step of it. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the new reality of 2026. We will be back soon with more updates as this global divorce continues to unfold. Stay informed and stay curious about the world around you. This is Josh Geo, and I will see you in the next one.